you are going through the self-transformation process. So let us quickly recap what we've been doing. So we are focused on our own transformation, self-transformation, going through a detox diet, going through silence, and going through making our home our ashram. Pretty much sincere about our own evolution, our own transformation, to live a better life, to live a happy life, to live a better version of ourselves. So this is what we've been going through in this program.
Namaste. Now, as far as the no analysis is concerned, I agree with Patriji that we should not analyze this energy and all those things. But I have a question on this analysis that there are aspects where you have to analyze, namely when you have to choose, or when there is a process, or something else where you have to take a decision. So there I would like to know your take on it.
And when coming to the analysis part, so you understood that analysis comes from the mind. So when you are going through a certain process, so when you start analyzing, that destroys that process. Okay, I'll give you an example. For example, you have sown some seeds and it has just started sprouting, but it is not as expected. The speed of the germination of the seed was not as per your expectations. It is taking very slow, really slow. So you got curious and to see what exactly is happening. Is the roots really coming or not? So you took off and you want to see if the roots are there, if the roots are happening. You took off and you saw, oh, okay, there are some roots. All right. So you plant it again. And then it started growing a little bit slowly. And it becomes a small plant after a few months. And then again, you are a little bit concerned. What's happening with this plant? Why it is not growing? So let me check again. So you again pulled it out of the soil and you saw, is there a root? Okay, the roots are growing. Okay, fair enough. So put it back. So you do this process 2-3 times. What happens? Eventually the plant dies. Yes. So analysis during the process of meditation, no analysis. Or in the journey of meditation, no analysis. Okay, but you can do all the analysis beforehand. I would call it as a mental development. Okay, I will discuss we discussed about the 7 bodies, right? So our mental body, our ability to connect the dots and see the bigger picture of life and see the meaning of life, and ability to dissect, discern, and then get back to the things for a greater understanding. So that is correct. So that I would call it as discernment. Okay. Or your mental ability to see meaning for a certain thing. Of course, you should use your mental abilities to see what is right, what is wrong, what suits you, what doesn't suit you. And you should always have scientific temper. Does it make sense? Is it logical? Is there sufficient data? Right? Is there a research upon it? So scientific temper is very, very important. You should always have a scientific temper. You should never blindly follow anybody. Point number 1. You should go with your own research. You should go with your own analysis. And you should always be able to be in a state of awareness so that you can discern what's happening at any point of time. What is happening? Am I in the right path? So that discernment is very necessary. Discernment is different. Analysis is different. Analysis comes from the curiosity. Curiosity kills. Okay. So before you start anything, you do all the analysis. You do all the getting the data, discerning, dissecting. Do all the analysis before. But once you start the process, then you should trust the process. Until you should keep yourself, okay, I'm going to sincerely experiment it for 6 months. And then let me decide after 6 months. So at least for that 6 months time, which you have given it for yourself, you should not do analysis on that particular process. Trust the process. Before you start the process, do all your homework. But once you start it, you should let it grow. So the plant example, I think it should help you.
Namaste to Pradeep and all. I'm Vanny from Malaysia. First time when I meet Pradeep, he think me on two things. One, switching to vegetarian. Secondly, listen to my inner child. So the first thing about vegetarian, I think it's quite embarrassing to recall. I resisted very strongly because to me, my rational mind is telling me vegetarian meal is not balanced diet. So I resisted that. But I went home and I checked into dictionary, what is inner child? So from there, that is my start of my spiritual journey. And I can say I'm very lucky because not long after the first meeting, we actually able to join Pradeep's physical retreat in Malaysia. 4 days, 3 nights, my jaw dropped because I switched to vegetarian overnight. Garlic eliminated from my diet, and with gradual awareness, dairies and eggs as well are out from my diet as well. So despite I do not have a third eye vision, but I find that over this 1 year plus to 2 years, the awareness is slowly growing within me.
Yes, thanks for sharing. Yeah, as you said, many people think vegetarian diet is not a balanced diet, but you will understand with your own experiments that it is a balanced diet and it is a complete diet and meal, and that is a happy diet. The most importantly, when you eat vegetarian food, you feel happy. So that is the key point. Not only about the proteins and vitamins and minerals, vegetarian food has more of that. Vegetarian food has plant-based protein is more easily absorbed by the human body than the animal-based protein. Keeping aside the karmic things, vegetarian food gives us naturally a lot of joy, and it's good for the intestine. Spiritually, of course, you have to pay back the karma. But even to eat a vegetarian food, even while eating, you feel so much joy. Thanks for sharing. And one thing I have to say is, for people of the Indian background or Indian origin, it's easy for them to become a vegetarian because they have a lot of alternatives. They know how to cook a vegetarian food. But people from Western countries, European countries, or even from the Chinese background, for them to become a vegetarian is not so easy because they don't know how to cook a vegetarian food. Most of the time they were eating meat from their childhood, and you have taken that leap. Thank you. You are a great inspiration.
I like to know a little more about garlic.
You see, garlic calcifies pituitary and the pineal glands. Okay, so when you see, these are very soft glands, pituitary and the pineal glands, and they are master glands which control the entire system, the pineal and the pituitary. And this pineal and the pituitary is connected to your 6th and the 7th chakra. Okay, so the 6th chakra is your third eye, where you have this ability to perceive beyond physical, right? Beyond physical frequencies like sounds, fragrances, smell, visions, beyond the physical range. And your Sahasrara is connected to your higher self. So when this pineal and the pituitary glands gets calcified, your connection to the light is minimized, or your connection to your higher self, to your higher guidance gets minimized. So when the light gets minimized, then there is more darkness. Darkness in human is nothing but fear. So the more you eat garlic, the more it creates fear consciousness. And garlic is actually a spy. Even though it is part of a vegetarian kingdom, it is created by dark forces as a spy within the vegetarian kingdom. And the reason is they have created a lot of good things. When you eat garlic, it is good for your digestion, it's good for your gastric, it's good for your heart. They have kept all physical medicinal things in the garlic so that more and more people will eat it and consume. And in the process they are eating, their spiritual connection is minimized, right? And then the fear consciousness is more. If you see on the planet Earth, the humans are suffering because of fear consciousness. The suffering is mainly because of fear. Fear,
yes,
it can be, there are two, we can categorize whatever we think, whatever we do, whatever we speak, the way we live our life can be categorized into two things, love-based and fear-based. our emotions, feelings, thoughts, actions. Even you see the money is the major factor which is controlling the system on the planet Earth now. You see the insurance industry. The entire insurance industry survives on the fear. Just imagine if fear is not there, the insurance industry will collapse. And the ripple effect will be the banking industry will collapse. Right? So the whole system is going to change sooner or later, and that is already happening. We see this Walmart movement, and we see a lot of changes politically and education-wise. A lot of changes are going to happen because of the shift in the consciousness. But garlic was originally designed for the humans to get stuck in their darkness. So if you really want to understand, you have to do an experiment. So for 30 days, consciously don't eat garlic. In any foods you eat, don't eat garlic. Even when you are eating outside, make sure there is no garlic, absolutely no garlic for 30 days. After 30 days, you eat garlic. And you will immediately see the day you eat garlic, your emotions are hyped up and you're feeling insecure, you're feeling backed up, and you feel very uncomfortable. You feel a lot of disturbance, turbulence inside you. Then you will understand, wow, this is what garlic is doing to humanity.
Okay.
So do your own experiment. And I have done my experiment and I come to understand this. But there are a lot of scientific studies also, which they have done in the Western world, where eating garlic calcifies pituitary and the pineal glands.
So yesterday when I had asked Patriji, so he just said that we need to be happy whatever is happening, and we watch life as a movie. Suppose that if my neighborhood something big has happened or something is happening, some people are being killed or robbed or whatever, which really impacts. So my struggle is that how to respond to that.
It's a very interesting question you asked. So I'll give an example so that you have this understanding. We discussed about the soul evolution, and probably I didn't go in deep, but I just discussed overall the soul evolution. And when I was discussing about the service, right? Physical service and the kind of service, physical or spiritual, and how many different types of people are there in service. You see, when you are at what level of evolution you are in, right? So you have to first understand at what level of evolution you are in, and your understanding relates to that level of evolution. If you're in the spiritual path, so that means what is spirituality? Spirituality is studying about the self. It is studying about your spirit, right? That is spirituality. So here, this is for a 5th standard student, the syllabus is different. For a 10th standard student, the syllabus is different. And for a university student, the syllabus is different. And for a PhD, it's altogether a different game. For a PhD, there is not even syllabus. He has to go find out and he has to create his own research field, right? He has to find something new. There is no predefined syllabus for PhD. So this spirituality is like a PhD, where you are studying about yourself. You are getting into the higher and higher states of consciousness, and you are going beyond this limitedness. Because people who come into spirituality are very old souls. So for an old soul, his main quest is, I want to know the truth. Why this is happening? Why fundamentally everything so much chaos? And who am I? Why am I born? What is my purpose of life? What is this creation? So his questions are towards the bigger understanding, the bigger space of life, bigger space of the evolution. So if you are in that PhD syllabus, then your focus should be on that level of educational field. So the truth is, there is no injustice whatsoever. This is the grandest possible truth. Only a PhD student will understand. But a 5th standard student will not understand. For a 5th standard student, for him, for example, if there is a policeman or a court and law, you say, oh, there is no injustice. There is no need to do any punishment. They don't accept, because they are doing their dharma according to their level of evolution. So we are living on a planet where there is duality, right? So in this duality, this is the paradox of life, where you are living in a system, knowing you are God, but you have to be part of a system where there is duality, knowing there is oneness, knowing there is ekam, you are still living in the duality. So this is the beauty of life. So for your spiritual understanding, for your spiritual understanding, whatever is happening, if you can see that that is happening on its own, but it is disturbing you, right? So the point, you are concerned because it is disturbing you. You see certain things around and that is disturbing you. So your concern is not the outer, your concern is the inner. You are getting disturbed, that is your concern. So if you want to come out of the disturbance, you have to see from a higher perspective. So from a higher perspective, absolutely there is no injustice. Everybody has to pay their karma. And everybody has to pay back whatever the karmic account settlement. Maybe that's an opportunity for them to learn certain lessons. Because we are seeing from our own lenses. But in reality, through that challenging experience, the other person is going through the karmic payback, or the other person is learning some deep soul lessons. So when you understand there is no injustice whatsoever in the entire creation, see, God doesn't have favorites. God created everybody equal. Okay, so God cannot do injustice in the creation, in the entire creation. There cannot be any injustice. In the God's creation, there cannot be any injustice. So when you have that kind of understanding, then you see from a different lens. You see from without any judgments. So that helps you not to get disturbed. Yes, you might ask a question. Then what should I do? How should I react? The same is with animal. An animal is getting killed. So what should I do? Should I leave it like it's an animal karma, or what should I do? So why should I teach about vegetarian? See, it's a different thing. Animal kingdom, two men are quarreling. When two men, they're taking guns and fighting with each other, right? They have their own free will and they have all the right to do whatever they want. But animals, they don't have this ability to open up their mouth and say, don't kill me. You don't have the right to kill me.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
They're very innocent beings, and we are more evolved beings. And it is our responsibility as evolved beings to take care of our animal brothers and sisters. Because in the evolution, the next incarnation of animals, the next evolution of the animals, the next graduation is a human. So the animal evolution is based on the friendship with the humans. The more the animals become friendly, the more they graduate humans. Right? So it is our responsibility to not to give fear to the animals, right? Because we are interfering in their evolution, and when we interfere in others' evolution, our evolution will be interfered. Law of karma. What you back to you. We are going for ahimsa. We are going for non-violence, not because of the animal. See, the animal is going to die anyway. Whether you kill it or not, the animal will become old and animal will die anyway. The point is not the animal is dying. The point is you are involving in that process. So your evolution is interfered. So that's why being a vegetarian is not for the sake of animal. Being a vegetarian is for the sake of us, for our own evolution. Okay. And when you see an animal getting killed, it's a poor being, right? Cannot helpless being. It needs the friendship of the human. So where it is expecting a friendship of a human and the human is going and killing, naturally you feel pain. That pain is okay. But even then you should not feel pain. You say, okay, that's fine. I do my best. There is no injustice whatsoever. So do your best. Again, don't get entangled in that pain. Do your best. And understand everything is a process. That man who is one day, he will also become a vegetarian. One day he will also learn his lesson. He might take 10 lifetimes, 100 lifetimes, but he will learn the lesson. So a bigger understanding, everything is happening and everything is in the flow of evolutionary process. With that bigger understanding, you have peace in your heart. And when you have peace in your heart, you can do great things. When you are disturbed, you cannot do anything. Namaste to all of you. Thank you.